Welcome, motorsports fans, to the Elkhart County Fair in Goshen, Indiana. And this, our continuing coverage of the Lucas Oil Professional Pulling League. This is the General Tire Power Pool. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ted Jones. Joining me in the booth, Rick Carlson, and Doc Riley is down in the pit area to tell us what is a super farm tractor.
The Super Farm class here at Goshen, and the fair is an incredible class. 9,300 pounds underneath the side shield, 640 cubic inches. That's the top end limitation. This is a class very, very close to pro stocks. Again, they're about 10,000 pounds. They're limited to one turbocharger, 3-inch inlet, 3-inch outlet on the turbocharger. Now, the neat thing about this class is it's kind of the in-between pro stocks and that kind of farm stock class. I'll tell you, an awful lot of young guys are in this class in a big way. They may notice a little condensation right here. They are allowed to use an intercooler, and again, diesel, the fuel of choice. Super Farms, they're going to be a lot of fun to watch here at Goshen.
All right, thank you very much, Doc Riley. We'll get started right away with our first puller, but one thing has changed here, Rick, on the normal 300-foot full pull.
That's it. This time a full pull is 310 feet. They know what the course is going to do. It's a veteran pulling crew out here. John Cutson and Digging Deer from Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin.
Big green John Deere. Boy, take a look at that 40-20 as it moves right down the center of the course. That's what you want. He's not having to hit the brakes much at all. True pull. Wow, 313.46. That is a full pull. Take a look at the Rdl Carriers Replay.
John Cutts right down the middle. Front end up in the air, dancing a little bit. He's not having to touch the brakes. It's still just a little bit. Now they go ahead and shut him down. He's going to a pull-off.
Believe it or not, I think I saw one time that he did actually touch the brakes. Peter Norton is up with his 4450 John Deere. He calls it the perfect storm.
He is out there. That front end is way up, and it's bouncing. I don't know if he can sustain that pull with the front end up in the air like that. Nah, 295.5 feet. Not going to reach a pull-off.
So our leader is John Cutts at 313 feet. Next up will be Wally Weiss, the Viagri King, he calls it. It's a Case International.
From Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Well, he's after that 310-foot number. He leaves very slowly and softly. Now he's under power. The front end is staying on the ground, but just everything's staying on the ground.
I think he ran out of horsepower right there at 300 feet, which normally would be a full pull, but not this time. Here comes the Thunderstruck. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Kevin Walker.
Fogger, Indiana is home, and he does like to take off easy, but that's the only part of the course that's easy. The front end is up in the air. It's bouncing. It's under power. Can he reach it to the full end?
Yep. Just enough. 310.77 feet, the sport of inches. Look at it again with the Rdl Carriers Replay. See how you get into a pull-off. Now, pull-off means both of them have reached the full pull mark, which is 310 feet. Walker barely made it. Cutts, our current leader, went over by 3 feet, but that doesn't matter. You get another chance with the pull-off. Up next will be Josh Miley, the High Maintenance Case International.
And the hooker's done with his job. He's putting it in gear, getting set, getting the steering wheel centered just where he wants it. Now he's ready. RPM up, bouncing a little bit. I don't know if that's going to have an effect further down the course. Front end stays up, but it looks like it's a straight pull for Josh Miley, but he just runs out of power.
Oh, 304.71 feet, so close. He needed 310 feet. As we look at it again, we'll explain to you one reason that they rev that engine up quite a bit before they drop the clutch is to spool up the turbochargers. You see, the turbos are not making horsepower until you get them spinning real good with lots of exhaust moving through. Now our next puller will be Dexter Sims, the bucking binder.
And Dexter Sims tightening the belts on. He wants to be in and ready for the bucking binder. Well, if we go by the name, the front end's going to be bouncing all the way down the pulling course. Front end goes up. There's a bounce. I guess we could call it a bucking binder. With the smoke, you can see that he has the RPM up and he has some power, but that is not enough. 297 feet.
The
Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League, brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, the world leader in heavy-duty and high-performance lubricants. And by K&N Filters. Ask for them by name.
Ah, yes, the kids love the county fair, especially when you win at cards. Welcome back to the Elkhart County Fair in Goshen, Indiana, the General Tire Power Pull, a part of the Lucas Oil Professional Pulling League. Here's the only 2 full pulls that we've had. That means we will have a pull-off, ladies and gentlemen. There may be more involved in that. Let's get started right now with Billy Morris, your brother's keeper.
Nicholasville, Kentucky, another one of the John Deere. We'll see how he approaches the starting line. Taking it very soft. Now the front end staying down. He's able to steer all the way. It stays in the middle. But, he does not have enough power.
Early death right there at 294 feet. Let's check in with Doc Riley to see if the track conditions are changing.
Now, this has got an awful lot of sand in it, some clay. It packs together very, very well. We've heard from some pullers it's a tad bit slippery right here. This big dirt pile, well, if you look up there, it protects these guys over here. That's the laser measuring crew right there. Those are the guys responsible for the distance. And it's located, of course, at the very end of the pulling track. Kind of some tight quarters here at Goshen, but boy, people love their pulling here. Again, they pull from early in the morning till late at night here at this county fair.
All right, thank you very much, Doc Riley. Our next puller coming up right now is Jimmy True on the Logan's Toy.
And again, Jimmy, one of those pullers who has the weight way out front. He has some on the sides in front of the rear tires, but everything out front, trying to keep it on the ground. Well, I think he kept it too far on the ground this time, Ken.
Boy, you can hear that weight of that sled come down, and you can hear that engine begin to labor and toil right there as all the weight is on the rear axle. He settles for 297 feet. A good look here at Steve Mark, the cash burner, and Alice Chalmers.
Alice Chalmers, D21. We don't see many of these in cash burner. Well, it'll burn all the cash he wants to put in it, plus more. Starts out with a good pull, but when the weight gets up there, it just bogs him down.
Beautiful old tractor. He stops it at 280.45 feet. So that'll bring up Greg Lamb, the Black Viper. It's a John Deere 4455 that is not green. Talk about really weird.
Greg Lamb, for whatever reason, has decided to change the color. Well, we're going to find out if the Black Viper likes that color change or not. Bounces a little bit off the start, and it just does not look like he's ever going to get up to full power.
No, bogging down very badly there. Boy, something really happened. Let's take another look at that with our Rdl Carriers Replay right now to see if we can figure out what happened. You're on board, ladies and gentlemen, with Greg Lamb.
Greg Lamb, RPM up, dumps the clutch, and now you can see him bouncing just like the tractor is. RPM now coming up to an acceptable level, but it's too late. He needed all that when he left the starting line.
Let's find out about the color of this tractor.
Typically, a John Deere tractor is John Deere green. Why paint this ride black?
Well, we just wanted to be a little different. I mean, there's a lot of green tractors out there, and I always thought that the aluminum and the shiny stuff would look good black and silver, and I thought it'd just be something different, so we thought we'd try it.
This is kind of a different class. Super Farm, you guys, just a notch below the pro stocks, but there's an awful lot of young guys in this class, man. Why is that?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of a one step up from where we came from, you know, the farm stocks, and we worked our way up, and this is the next step in line for me, so this is where I'm at right now. So
it's got to be fun, too, man.
Well, it's fun. It's a lot of work. We're still lining our tractor out, and we're still getting along with it pretty good, and it's a lot of fun, or we wouldn't be here.
All right, well, there's the story on the black John Deere that should be green. Here comes a John Deere that is green, ladies and gentlemen. Don Slamma, as you can see the hooker putting the hook on right there that will pull the sled down. He calls this the Fast and Furious, but it's not a Honda.
Nah. Laval, Wisconsin is home to Don Slamma, and Don will really get down this pulling course. Look at that. Not a hiccup. He is way down course. He's all the way out the back door, and he's still pulling.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's going to drive it all the way to Chicago if they don't stop him. 321.09 feet. We've got to look at that one again.
He just gets the tire speed up and goes straight down there. Slamma, the old Slamma Jamma, I mean, it is down the middle of that course. It bounces occasionally so he can steer. He doesn't have to touch the brakes. It is all horsepower.
Lots of horsepower, and you're right, Rick. He never tapped those brakes one time. That's what it takes, making a lot of horsepower. Look at that black smoke coming up out of that smokestack. Don Slamma will be in the pull-off. Now let's see if this guy can do it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Moore.
Putting on the horse collar, again, one of the safety devices to keep your head up straight, not bouncing either side, a little more support. Now the red tractor looks like it's doing good, but he's starting to bounce. Whoa, it's throwing him all around inside that roll cage.
Lots of problems, had to get on the brakes to keep from going out of bounds. Joe Moore settles for 268.47 feet. Look at it one more time. He came off the line nice and straight with just a little bit of the front tire coming off the ground. Makes you wonder what went wrong, Rick.
Well, now he starts this bouncing, and you're going to watch, and he's going to get off and back on. Pedals it just like you see in top fuel cars and funny cars.
Here comes the last puller in the class, ladies and gentlemen. This is Troy Schroedl, the contents under pressure John Deere.
Well, he's coming out. He is your season-long points leader. He's the one that everybody looks at. He's made the most of every single pulling course that he's been out on this season. He leads. It looks like he was spinning a little bit, but now he is bouncing. He's not having to touch the brake. Is he going to be able to make that full pull number?
Yes, by 2 feet, 312.17 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got 4 tractors in the pull-off. Take a look one more time at Troy.
Troy gets tire speed, wheel speed, front end up in the air, plenty of black smoke. It just looks smooth. Each time the front end hits, he steers a little bit, never touching the brakes, and this is just what he wants, trying to pick up another win.
You can see him veer off to the side just a little bit at the very end of the pull, but by that time he was past that 310-foot mark. Now they'll put more weight into the sled for the pull-off. We'll have that coming up next. Well, it's happy hour, ladies and gentlemen, at the Elkhart County Fairgrounds in Goshen, Indiana, with our General Tire Power Pull, because it's pull-off time. Here are the 4 competitors right now that are going to be in the pull-off, the order in which they will pull, not necessarily having anything to do with the distance they pulled. They have to pull in the same order in the pull-off in which they pulled in the original event. So our first guy up in the pull-off right now is going to be John Cutts, the Diggin' Deer.
And remember, the sled is totally different than what it was earlier. The earlier numbers are all tossed out. It's just who pulls the furthest right here in the pull-off. Cutts, a good-looking pull.
Wow, yeah, he's going beyond that 310 mark. No, 302.64. Boy, I thought he was going to do another full pull. But remember, there's more weight in there. You'll be able to tell it toward the end of the pull, Rick.
Well, we can watch him. Earlier, he did everything right, and I can't see much wrong with this one. The front end stayed up in the air. When it came down, he was able to steer. Right now, it's going right down the middle of the pulling course. We'll find out as the others come up if that 302-foot pull is going to be enough.
Remember, too, on a pull-off, they do a floating finish line. That means, I referred to 310, that was the original full pull mark. As we get a good look there at Kevin Walker, he's trying to get the signal from the hooker back there that everything is ready to go. The floating finish line means you pull as far as you can pull it, buddy, and the guy that goes the furthest is going to win. Kevin Walker trying to beat 302.64 feet.
Is he going to do it? It looks like a good pull. How about 302.68 within 400ths, but he's in the lead.
The sport of inches, it proves it time and time again. Kevin Walker barely noses out John Cutts, and here's how he did it, Rick.
Well, Cutts, we talked about, a nice straight pull, but we see Kevin Walker, he seems to be dancing a little bit. The front end comes up, goes to the left. Now it's stayed straight. Now it's to the right a little bit. He's steering a little bit more. It's getting heavier, and now he's going to the left. I don't know if he's going to touch the brakes or not.
Wow, let's check in with Doc Riley, who is with our pullers, on how close this is.
4/100ths of a foot separate you and that John Deere guy.
How do you measure that? You know, these guys from up Wisconsin, they're tough. We just chase them, and to be that close to one of them, I'm just happy as it can be.
It's got to be close. So very, very tight. Very close, man. You got to love that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's fun coming down here, running with Kevin and all these guys. They run good, so that's why we come down.
What's the secret from pullers from Wisconsin?
Oh, I don't know if there's any secrets. We just do what we do. Just come down here and have some fun.
They do what they do, and they do it right. Again, class not over yet, but 4 100s. That's what separates these two guys right here.
Boy, is that ever close, and you can see great sportsmanship being shown there by the two competitors as they're just having fun. Now, Don Slama's up next. He's got to beat 302.68.
Well, he had the longest pull of the first session by, almost 10 feet. And this one looks good, but now it's starting to dance and move around a little bit. I think he looks good.
Wow, 305.13. Yes, indeed, he looks good. He has taken the lead, but you can see the extra weight in the sled really bogging him down there at the end of the run.
He leads well. It's the front end ready to float a little bit, but he is in the throttle. He's going straight. He wants to get as much distance as he can from the starting line before the weight gets the top of the sled. It looks good right now. Dancing a little bit. I don't know if he has to steer at the finish line.
Well, he takes the lead by a good 3 feet right there, which is pretty comfortable. One puller remaining in the pull-off, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is. This is Troy Schroedl. He would like to beat Don Slama. Just those shoulder harnesses at the last minute, because these tractors have actually turned over backwards. That's why they have a roll cage and a shoulder harness. Troy's on a good pass, Rick.
He's trying to make it 4 in a row. Is he going to be able to? We're not sure.
That's Don Slama. No, he doesn't make it. 304.14 Don Slama. Watch the reaction when he hears the PA announcer right there. He knows right now that he has won this event, and Doc Riley is with our winner right now.
Boy, Don, what a tight class, man. You guys were all in it tooth and nail, and you come out on top. Got to make you feel good.
We feel really good. We got second down here last year at Goshen, and we got first this year, and 3 top Badger State tractors down here. We're just really tickled to be down here, and this is a great pull, and we're glad you guys are here. We're glad Lucas Oil's here. We're just glad everybody's here.
Hey, I asked guys from Wisconsin this, but how come you guys are so good at this pulling game?
Well, I'll tell you, in the Badger State class, we got 15 tractors in the super farm division. Any one of them 15 can win on any given night. We have got the toughest bunch of super farms in the nation.
Okay, here's the tough question for you. Most of the guys in this class are I won't say a lot, but they're younger than you are. Is this a young man's game, or can anyone play?
I've only been doing this for 3 years, so I'm the rookie. No, anybody can play. It's a fun game, you know that? So just glad to have you guys here, and hello, Goshen.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And our congratulations from the booth go out to Don Slama as we take a look at the final standings, the General Tire results.
Don Slama, Troy Schroedl, Kevin Walker, and John Cutts. That's the way they ended the pull-off.
Super stock diesel trucks are coming up next. Stay tuned. Fans, you're tuned into the General Tire Power Pull, coming to you from the Elkhart County Fair in Goshen, Indiana. We're going to change classes now. Diesel trucks.
This program brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, the world leader in heavy-duty and high-performance lubricants, and by K&N Filters. Ask for them by name.
These super stock diesel trucks run for a different set of points. The point fund put up by Dixie Chopper. It's the Dixie Chopper Tour. They're about 8,000 pounds. That's the maximum they're allowed to weigh. 460 cubic inch limit. You can have anything as long as it doesn't go over that wheelbase. 158 inches maximum. Only diesel fuel, but you can add water injection and, of course, turbochargers. You can have those, but limited to 2 stages of configuration. And our first puller is Van Hazley.
The Rock Hard Ram, Fairmont, Indiana. Dodge inline 6-cylinder, Cummins turbo diesel. Trying to go to the magic 300 foot. Yep, not going to do it.
Boy, I never dreamed one of those would put out that much black smoke. You notice how they all alter the exhaust. No longer does it go out underneath the truck bed in the back of the truck. Here comes Rodney Tarr.
He's in his Ford Power Stroke diesel, and he's looking and bouncing and bumping, and I don't know what went wrong.
He broke something maybe, Rick. It looks like something broke. He'll settle for 36 feet, and he's out of the game right now. So they'll get another truck in place, and that's going to be Kurt Hazley.
Another Dodge with the inline Cummins turbo diesel, the 6-cylinder. RPM up. Look at that black smoke coming out of there. All 4 tires kicking up dirt. Trying to look at the end of the racetrack. Is he going to make it? No. Not going to get far enough.
Not quite enough. Van Hazley has the lead at 292 feet. Kurt settles for 285 feet. But here comes Kent Crowder.
Shy Diesel, Attica, Indiana. The next of our Cummins. Turbo Diesel Dodges. Now the RPM is up. You can see the black smoke. Spin of the tires. Those turbos come into play. And this is a good-looking pull.
Boy, he's really getting down course. 4-wheel drive truck pulls 299.51 feet. Remember, the idea here is to set that sled so that you go exactly 300 feet. I'll tell you, the sled operator knew what he was doing today as we take a look at Terry Martin.
Radical Ram 2, West Union, Ohio-based Dodge, Martin Farms. And this is the best-looking pull of the event so far, right down the center of the course.
Wow, full pull, 301.50 feet for Terry Martin. Bumps out the Shy Diesel entry. Let me tell you, Shy Diesel is the big name in diesel truck pulling, and Terry Martin has just stopped them right dead in their tracks. Take a look with the Rdl Carriers Replay at what a perfect pull is with this super stock diesel trucks. So here's the final results, the way they ended up. Really good close competition except for Rodney Tarr, who had a problem right off the starting line. Our congratulations to Terry Martin.
Now the Dixie Chopper Tour Point. Shy Diesel ahead. Rock Hard Ram off constantly. Well, now we'll take a look at point standings from our Super Farm.
Super Farm Troy Schroedl on top with 246 points, but Kevin Walker hot after him. For information on any products featured on today's program, check out these websites. And to obtain a copy of today's program, log on to masterstv.com.